Welcome to our next junior number video. In this video, we're chatting about rounding to decimal places. There's going to be a lot of situations over the next few years where you are going to have to round your answer sensibly. The key rule we're going to talk about in this video is if the next digit is 5 or greater, then the digit you're looking at gets rounded up. So let's get into it and show you what we mean. Here's example 1. We're going to take the number 5.23 and we're going to round it to 1 decimal place. And 1 decimal place gets shortened to 1 dp. So here's the 1 decimal place that we're talking about, the first number after the decimal point. Now we're going to have a peek at the next number. If the next number is 5 or greater, then the 2 will get rounded up 1. Well, the next number happens to be a 3, and that's not 5 or greater. So we don't need to worry about any rounding up. So we ignore the 3 and we're just going to write the answer down as 5.2. This funny equal sign that's squiggly means approximately equal to. So 5.23 is approximately equal to 5.2, and we've chosen to round our answer to 1 decimal place. Now if you have a quick look at a diagram, you can see 5.23 is closer to round down to 5.2 than it is to round up to 5.3. Right, example 2. Let's take 3.567 and round to the nearest hundredth. Remember, the first decimal point is a tenth, the second decimal point is a hundredth. So we're rounding to 2 decimal points, which is the second number after the decimal point. Right. Now the key rule, remember, if the next number is 5 or greater, we're going to round up. So the next number happens to be a 7, which is 5 or greater, which means this 6 here is going to get rounded up 1 to 7. And we're going to ignore this 7 now. We don't need to look at that. So the answer we're going to round to is 3.57. The 6 has been rounded up 1 because the next digit has 5 or greater. And again, looking at a diagram, 3.567 is closer to round up to 3.57 than it is to round down to 3.56. Right, what about example 3? How would I round 14.479 to 2 decimal places? Well, here are the 2 decimal places, and I need to know my key rule. If the next number is 5 or greater, I'm going to round up. The next number happens to be a 9, which is 5 or greater. So therefore, that 7 is going to get rounded up to an 8. And we're going to ignore the 9 here, don't need that anymore. So our answer is going to be 14.48. 14.48. So 14.479 gets rounded to 14.48 to 2 decimal places. Right, what about this one? Example 4, round 3.66124 to 3 decimal places. Well, here's my 3 decimal places. So I'm looking at my 1 at the moment, and I'm looking at my next number after the 1. If it's 5 or greater, I'm going to round the 1 up. Well, the next number happens to be a 2, which is not 5 or greater. So I don't need to round up my 1, so I can just ignore the 2 and the 4. And I'm going to round my answer to 3.661. I haven't rounded my 1 up because the next number is not 5 or greater. Right, my final example is to do with money. If you're ever solving a problem with money, you just need to understand money always gets rounded to 2 decimal places because we have dollars and cents. So always round money to 2 decimal places. So here's my 2 decimal places, 6 and 6. So I'm looking at my second 6. That might get rounded up if the next digit is 5 or greater. Well, the next digit happens to be an 8, which is 5 or greater. So that means my last 6 is going to get rounded up to a 7. And I'm going to ignore all the rest of these digits, and I'm going to write down $3.67. Great. Thanks for watching.